They say Chicago's cold can make a grown man cry. But let me tell you something. That December morning, when Michael Richardson hit the sidewalk, nobody was crying. Nobody was even looking his way. A millionaire suit worth more than some folks' cars drops to the ground, gasping for air, and the city just flows around him like he's another crack in the pavement. Funny, isn't it? How you can have everything and be invisible at the same time. You know what I mean? Now, Michael wasn't your typical Wall Street wolf. At 40, the man had conquered just about every business mountain you could name, penthouse over Lake Michigan, company worth $50 million, assistants who'd kill for his approval. But the truth is, all those numbers don't mean squat when you're haunted by memories his wife Jennifer's laughter still echoing through rooms she'd left behind 3 years earlier, cancer ripping a hole through both their lives. That morning, while adjusting his tie and waving off his assistant's reminders about the big board meeting, he was just another lost soul pretending his chest wasn't aching, that the pain wasn't crawling down his arm like a freight train. Spoiler, it was. By the time Michael stumbled at Michigan and Wacker, clutching that $1,000 coat like it might shield him from a heart attack, the city's morning rush didn't skip a beat. Someone yelled for help. Does anyone know CPR? But nobody stepped forward. Michael's world started shrinking, sound melting into a blur, until out of nowhere, a voice cut through the panic. Calm down. I'm a doctor. Everybody laughed at 7-year-old girl in a puffy purple jacket, dragging a box of candy bars. Move. Please let me through. Some old man tried to stop her, but the look in her eyes made grown-up step aside. The girl Isabella Martinez dropped to her knees, checked Michael's pulse, started barking orders that didn't fit her size. He's having a heart attack. We don't have much time. The crowd hesitated. But Michael, fading fast, felt her hands move with a precision no adult could have faked. I need space. Someone call 911 and tell them we have a male, about 40, with suspected myocardial infarction. She started compressions, counting out loud, her tiny voice fierce with purpose. Doctors never give up, never stop fighting for life. She'd learned from her mother, Dr. Elena Martinez, a legend at St. Mary's before cancer took her too. Isabella's hands steady, strong, relentless worked a miracle on that frozen sidewalk. When the paramedics arrived, Michael's color had already started coming back. The lead EMT, Dave, just stared. Who did this? Every finger pointed at Isabella, now sitting beside Michael, holding his hand. Little girl, Dave asked, how did you know what to do? Isabella's eyes dark, Serious didn't flinch. My mama taught me. She said knowledge is the only thing nobody can ever take from you. As Michael was loaded into the ambulance, he squeezed her hand, managed to whisper, thank you. And as the doors slammed shut, nobody guessed that the story was just beginning. Michael's recovery at Chicago General wasn't just a medical miracle. It was the start of something bigger. Amanda Foster, who'd seen every kind of trauma in 15 years, couldn't believe the EMT's report a 7-year-old performing perfect CPR. She pulled the street camera footage, watched as Isabella commanded the scene with the calm of a seasoned physician. When Isabella showed up at the hospital, worried about the man I helped this morning, Dr. Foster recognized the child's posture, the direct gaze. The name Martinez sent a chill down her spine. Elena's daughter. It all made sense. You did everything right, Dr. Foster assured her. For the first time since losing her mother, Isabella's composure cracked, relief and determination mixing in her voice. How do I become a real doctor like Mama was? She asked. Foster, stunned by the depth of her resolve, replied, I think that's a conversation we need to have. Let me back up a sec. 3 years earlier, Elena Martinez had been fighting cancer while saving lives at St. Mary's. The night Jennifer Richardson, Michael's wife, was brought in after a hit and run, Elena pulled every string, used every ounce of skill, even while chemo was destroying her from the inside. For 8 hours, she fought to save Jennifer, comforted Michael when the end finally came. She fought so hard. That kind of love, it echoes forward. 2 months later, Elena was the patient dying, but still teaching Isabella everything she could, drawing diagrams of the heart on napkins, telling her, "Promise me you'll use what I teach you to help people, no matter what anyone says about your age." Isabella promised. So now, fast forward when Isabella walked into Michael's recovery room. He saw her not just as the girl who saved his life, but as the daughter of the woman who tried to save his wife. The realization hit them both at once. "Your mother, she fought for Jennifer like she was family," Michael said, voice thick with emotion. "She gave me hope when I had none. And now you've given me a second chance at life." Isabella, mature beyond her years, replied, "Mama always said that sometimes God puts people in our path for reasons we can't understand." Michael squeezed her hand. "Your mother's still saving people through you." That was the moment that changed everything. Michael decided Isabella's education shouldn't wait. Why let the system waste that kind of talent? With Dr. Foster's help, he pitched the idea of a youth medical program to the hospital board. At first, the room was cold talk of lawsuits, age limits, children lack judgment. But when they watched the street footage, saw Isabella in action, and heard Dr. Foster's site programs from Sweden training prodigies, the resistance started to crack. Michael pledged $20 million to launch the Elena Martinez Youth Medical Education Program. When the board wanted to question Isabella directly, she walked into that room in her blue dress, stared down a table full of skeptics, and said, "Knowledge without action is just selfishness. If you can help, you should help." Her words landed harder than any PowerPoint. The vote was unanimous. A program would launch. Within months, Isabella and 11 other gifted kids, each with their own story. Marcus, who performed first aid after shooting, Sarah, who managed her grandma's diabetes, James, who volunteered at free clinics, started learning from real doctors. They bonded over anatomy lessons, simulation labs, and first days that left their instructors in awe. For Isabella, it felt like coming home, mama's dream becoming real. But you know the world doesn't like its boxes shaken. As soon as Isabella's story went public, the backlash began. Headlines screaming child exploitation disguised as education, psychologists warning about robbing kids of childhood, even state investigations. Isabella, testifying before the education board, didn't flinch. "Not letting kids use their gifts, that's what hurts us. I play games, I just play anatomy games." The critics pressed harder, but then fate intervened. A multi-car crash outside the courthouse. While everyone else panicked, Isabella rushed out, took charge, triaged the injured, worked alongside the very doctors who doubted her. The cameras caught it all. When the dust settled, even her harshest critic, Dr. Beckman, admitted she's not being pushed beyond her limits, finally getting the education she needs. The program not only survived, it expanded nationwide. Isabella became the face of a movement, a youth ambassador for medical education, traveling the country to find more kids like her. Extraordinary gifts deserve extraordinary opportunities, she'd tell them. The question isn't if we're too young to help. The question is, what are we going to do with what we have? Years passed, and Isabella's legacy only grew. She became a global symbol addressing the World Health Organization, running disaster relief in Haiti, teaching doctors and kids alike that healing doesn't have an age requirement. Michael Richardson, the man who once thought he had lost everything, watched Isabella not only fulfill his wife's legacy, but build something even bigger. "Your mama started something beautiful," he told her, "but you turned it into something extraordinary." Sometimes the smallest hands carry the biggest dreams. And as Isabella looked out over a crowd of young doctors and future leaders from around the world, she realized this was never just her story. It was for every child ever told they were too young, too small, too different to make a difference. She made sure no one with healing hands would ever be left to learn alone. But you tell me, does age really matter when a life is on the line? Or is the real tragedy when we fail to let the next generation step up? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about justice, about opportunity, about what kind of world we want to build for every Isabella waiting for their chance.